Edit. This is by Ria Mehrotra. So I'm bringing it here for you. Me, Sarita, warrior teacher. The secret sauce. So the host is Mokul Diora. Platform is YouTube, Apple Podcasts. Genre is informative, conversational. The language is in both Hindi and English, and you got a 4-star rating. So there's good news. Children today are reading more than ever. But there's a flip side. They are increasingly glued to e-books and video games, all of which demand prolonged near eye focus. Add to that the long hours indoors, reduced exposure to natural light. The result is a surge in early myopia. So, on Mukul Diora's The Secret Sauce podcast, eye specialist Dr. Ritika Dalal calls it nothing short of an epidemic. In a clear, accessible conversation, she breaks down what causes early myopia, why lens hygiene matters, and whether procedures like LASIK are worth considering, revealing that she herself opted for the surgery. The episode is practical without being alarmist, balancing medical insight with lived experience. So, this balance is what largely defines the podcast. Deora's questions are straightforward, even obvious at times, but they open up spaces that mainstream media often skims over. So, in his conversation with Dr. Ariti Govardhikar argues that labeling children as good or bad can stunt emotional growth. So, label the behavior, not the child, she advises. The discussion extends to modern female burnout fueled by social media perfectionism, multitasking, guilt, and also fragile boundaries. So, there are episodes that tackle environmental as well as lifestyle anxieties. Varun Agarwal, who is the founder of Breathe Easy Labs, points to a surprising culprit behind chronic fatigue. Indoor air, new buildings, he argues, may have worse air quality than older ones because of chemical off gassing from furniture materials. So, the takeaway is simple but urgent. Ventilation is not optional. Similarly, functional medicine coach Nikki Gomez addresses brain fog, gluten intolerance, and India's rising diabetes burden. She links modern dietary shifts and increased pesticide use also to changing health patterns, advocating for reduced processed food, regulated sleep, and consistent exercise. So, as a host, Dara keeps the tone conversational and unhurried. The podcast strength lies in accessibility. Complex ideas are distilled into actionable advice without overwhelming jargon. So, you see that ultimately the podcast thrives on relevance. It taps into contemporary urban anxieties and packages them into digestible, solution oriented conversations. So, not every answer is definitive, but the show succeeds in prompting listeners to ask better questions about their own personal selves, homes, and also habits. So, in that sense, its secret sauce may simply be attentiveness, the willingness to pause, listen, and reconsider the everyday. So, that was one part of it for you here. And then you also have another one about Not Lost in Translation, as it is titled. The write-up is by Pooja Talwar. And Yu Young Yoon speaks about her popular series Can This Love Be Translated, and how this romance genre connects audiences across cultures. So it's apt for the month of February. For Love, director Yu Young Yoon felt while creating Can This Love Be Translated is that universal emotion which could travel across cultures and borders. So, this is also the reason why the show is ranked among the most popular shows on Netflix India currently. To elevate the story, you collaborated with Hong sisters, writers Jung Yun and Miran, known for genre-bending hits like Alchemy of Souls, Hotel de Luna, all of that. So the globe-trotting romantic drama blends romantic drama, it blends also romance with fantasy and horror, lending the narrative an almost fairy tale like quality. So, with this particular project, through the tone of the genre of a romantic comedy, we wanted to convey a universal emotion, she says. So, what made it effective was a fairy tale like world building and universe that the Hong sisters are so well known for. And on top of that, we wanted to also deliver not just the storyline but also visuals as well. So, at the center of the story is a talented polyglot and much in demand interpreter Kim Seon Ho, who crosses paths with an upcoming actor Go Yun Jung, a sudden breakout star who's grappling with dissociative identity disorder. So, the multi genre narrative unfolds as each individual speaks a private language. So, I believe that as relationships grow closer, we expose parts of ourselves, some things that we are unawares of, and those which we try to hide, but which inevitably resurface as one gets closer to another. So, you says that completion of love is the willingness to embrace that darkness as well. So, the story unfolds through a diverse range of backdrops, which served as a metaphor in the narrative too. So, sharing her creative sensibilities, you explains that while the starting point was simple, a story between two individuals with contrasting temperaments who come together, the series gradually reveals something more introspective. So, beyond romance, it explores how inner consciousness shapes who we are and how intimacy exposes both fragility and truth. So, Yo began her career as an assistant director on the 2016 superhit Descendants of the Sun. It is a year that was widely regarded pivotal because Korean popular culture began slipping decisively into the global mainstream. So that momentum only intensified with the rise of streaming platforms and an increasingly borderless audience. So, as K dramas evolved into a shared global cultural language, India emerged as a key market, with viewership jumping by over 370% in 2020 and accounting for nearly half of all non English streaming watch time by 2025. So, I think the reason why audiences love Korean dramas vary from viewer to viewer. In the past, some dramas were more emotionally intense and dynamic, while these days, newer and slightly different tempos, like fresher rhythms, also seem to be receiving a lot of love. She says, so rather than being one defining factor, she believes that it is the strength of stories that are fast paced, energetic, and capable of delivering strong emotional impact that resonates with audiences. So, with its global surge, can this love be translated? Makes one thing clear. The world may speak in different tongues, but the ache, absurdity, and the risk of love sound the same everywhere, and the show captures exactly that.